Welcome back to Mummy Cooks Homemade. Today is the start of the freezer meal prep that I like to do. I don't know how many of you have read the About Me section. For those that haven't, I do have spinal issues. So even making one video, I have to stop and start continuously. And then husband edits it and does a great job, bless him. So yeah, I do like to have stuff in the freezer for when I'm not feeling up to cooking, when the kids want something and maybe me and my husband are not bothered, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do today is the stuffed pasta shells that I did last week and got my camera roll fogged up so I couldn't show you. So I am going to do them now. So what you're going to need for this are these. I got these from Lidl's, I think. Yeah, Lidl. It's a 500 gram bag. I'm not going to cook the entire bag. I mean, these do swell. And you will probably eat about 4 to 6 a person, believe it or not, once they're stuffed. Anyway, you need a bag of these. These are the huge pasta shells. I've got a 300, is it? No, it's a 500 gram passata. Right, then I've got a creamy tomato and herb pasta bake sauce. It is with cream, soft cheese and mixed herbs for a rich creamy flavour. It's the creamy sauce that you want. Don't matter what brand, so long as it says tomato and creamy. I also add in, how much is in this? 200 grams. So I add in 100 grams of soft cheese, about 100 grams of white mushrooms. I've got 500 grams here of minced beef. Pop them over there. I've got 1 large brown onion. Going to use 2 stalks of celery. These carrots are small, so I'm going to use 2 small ones, otherwise use 1 large of grated carrot. I've got 250 ml. You can either use 250 ml of red wine. I can't drink, I'm not allowed because I'm on medication. And I'm not giving red wine to my kids either, even if you cook off the alcohol content. So I swapped it for 250 ml of beef stock. And mine's low sodium beef stock. Got tomato puree, which I'm probably going to add about a tablespoon, maybe 2. Got some Worcester sauce, maybe a tablespoon. You want 3 bay leaves. This all sounds like a lot, but it isn't when you think about what you put into your spag bowl and whatnot. Basil, pink salt, and it will literally be a pinch of that. Coarse cracked black pepper, and I've got some garlic puree, or 2 cloves if you want. So I'm going to start off by putting some, where am I? Oh, oil. The pan is heating. So, just going to put some garlic oil in. You can put normal oil in, it does not have to be garlic oil. And in those, I'd say is about a teaspoon. Mince produces enough of its own fats and that anyway. Why is it I never get out a spoon and I have to come down the camera? Every time. I'm destined to never be fully prepared. Ow, have I moved it too much? So I've used minced beef. If you wanted to use minced pork, that would, I guess, be fine. it would taste different to this, so I can't guarantee what that taste will turn out like. By the time this is finished, as I say, it's going into the freezer. I've got some disposable foil trays. It will feed a family of maybe 6, 7 by the time it's finished. So that's not bad really for 500 grams of mince. It's when you add in all the fillers and that, you see, to it. Right, so I'm going to leave that a minute. I'm going to start putting in the mushrooms. I'm not going to cut them into slices, I'm just taking little bits out of them, because these have got to shrink down and fit into a shell, remember. When I first made this I was quite surprised how nice it came out, to be perfectly honest. Not really wanting for anything but spag bol. But then I made that sausage ragu and it made me think there's got to be other things out there that I can eat with pasta. Because unfortunately I am fussy. In the background you can hear my washer, it's nearly done. So sorry for that. Keep them stirring. So a couple of sticks of celery. Sneak in the veggies while you can, guys, especially if you've got one like I've got that don't particularly like them. But if you hide them, she's not so bothered. And the second one. This is all stuff most people have got in their cupboards. And if it's not in your cupboard, they're not expensive. You should be able to find them. We don't go expensive in this house. That's the celery done. Didn't take long at all. Mince is not even cooked yet. There's 2 veggies already in there. Next, carrot. Ooh, one large one. Right, I'm going to change that. I'm going to do one large one because I found a large one in here. That was handy. And this sweetens it up a little bit. Obviously helps to stretch it as well. These are pre-washed. Oh, I need that still. And I'm just going to use the big side of the grater. I don't want chunks of carrot, but I also don't want them to disappear. Spraying carrot absolutely everywhere here. That's that. And some on me. Oh, all over the front of my cooker, lovely, jubbly. Give that a stir. One last one, and that's the onion. 1 second and I'll be back. So like I say, I've got a large onion. that's it for any chopping. Veggies are in. That noise is the washer now draining and going into spin. So all that's in. All I'm going to do now is leave it for 10 minutes just to cook down all the veggies. Okay, so I'll see you in 10 minutes. Right, so this has now been cooking for probably just over 10 minutes. All the vegetables have all sweated down, the meat's cooked. So I'm going to add in some Worcestershire sauce. Add it to your taste, not mine. That's the easiest thing to do. Now I'm going to add cracked black pepper. A little bit of salt. This is going to make a lot. Basil. Now I want, before the sauce goes in, but I don't remember to take them out neither, 3 bay leaves. A couple of cloves worth of the pureed garlic. I get through absolutely tons of this stuff. Now I'm going to put my puree in. I might add some more later if it needs thickening a little. Give them a good stir. Now I'm going to add 100 grams of cream cheese. I've got full fat here. Don't suppose it matters either way really which one you use. If you don't want to use cream cheese, I suppose you could use mascarpone if you wanted to. If you wanted to be kosher. Just gives it a nice creaminess. Right. Here was my beef stock. Remember, you can substitute that and use the red wine instead if you want to. If you're not cooking for any children and you don't have any issue with that, that's fine. Now the sauce, you can see it's not a bright red like bolognese sauce, so that's because it's got the cream cheese and stuff inside it, the cheese. It does not have a cheesy taste, if anyone's wondering. It's just really, really creamy. Nearly there. Now, oh, I just chucked it on my floor. My passata. I've made it with and without the passata. It's too dry, I find. And me, I am not overly fussy with a dry pasta, to be perfectly honest, but this was too dry. Once it was baked in the oven with the shells. Oh, I did forget to mention, when you stuff it into the shells, you can either open them up and use a spoon, which I have done, and it works fine. You could use a piping bag, cut a large hole so all the filling comes through. Do it that way, or if you've got large Ziploc bags, you can cut a corner off that and do it that way. I'll decide closer to the time what I can be bothered to do. So that's everything gone into there now. What I'm going to do is pop the lid on for 20 to 30 minutes on medium heat. My pan's great, it's a good non-stick. Well, if it does stick, it don't burn, put it that way. So that one is a great pan. So while this is cooking, I'm going to do my pasta. I am doing a freezer meal, so I am going to use a little bit more. Hang on. Count out if you need to. I mean, because that's the size of the shell. What would your kid eat? How many, stuffed with meat with cheese on top, how many would your child eat? That's the way I'd do it. Then make allowances for any that's split. So chuck another 3 or 4 in. That's all I do. But I am going to cook, I reckon. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get to that one easily. I'm going to have to cook 2 batches. What I'm going to use is, let me find it. So, I'm using these. No, you don't have to go out and buy them. You may have dishes that are big enough, I do. But I don't want to use them with Christmas coming up because I want to use them at Christmas. And this might not get eaten before Christmas. So, I've got some of these. Does it give a size? Does it, heck? That's a bit daft, isn't it, really? I thought it would have give a size on it. No, it's on the back. Finger, halfway up my arm. That's not an exact measurement, but there you go. But it's a good size, it's family size. Family size tin. That is what I'm going to fill. Probably I'm saying 1 layer, but packed layer. So that's what I'm using. Other ones you can use, like I did in my meals of the week. I've got some of these, also from Wilko's, very, very cheap. Home Bargains and Poundland also do these. I've got the smaller ones. That's great. They're great for if you, because they're deep, but that's perfect size for my 2 kids. And I've also got these ones, which I might do my quiches in on the run up to Christmas. So that I've got my big quiche, well, I've got 2 big quiche dishes spare then, for fruit tarts or something. So it's a good idea to invest in some of these, I mean, because they don't cost much. I have 2 small freezers, so I'm not lucky enough to have like a big American freezer or anything like that, if you're wondering. I've just got 2 small freezers. I've got a standalone over this side, and then the kids have got their own freezer underneath the fridge. So they've got 3 drawers all to themselves. Believe it or not. Because they don't always eat what we do. Or like to eat what we do, should I say. Let me get my oil out. Right. And theirs is also used for ice cream and frozen vegetables and stuff. So I'm just going to put some oil into this water to help them not stick. These say add pasta, reduce heat and simmer for 9 minutes. So turn the heat down a little bit. It says 9 minutes, so I'm going to go between 6 and 7 because I don't want them to fall apart. And they're going to get cooked again in the oven. You see what I mean? These are not expensive from Lidl. I think they're well under £2 anyway. And it was a big bag. So that'll do for that one. So, yeah. I'll leave them to simmer. That's simmering away. Want that to reduce down and thicken up. So I will see you back here once the shells and the pasta are cold enough for me to make the dish. Okay? Right, so I'll show you what it is I mean, I've just took out the first batch, and as you can see, they're not fully cooked, but they are nearly there. You need them to retain, the shape so that you can open them. Open them up and stuff them. If you cook them any further than this, you're going to end up with mush. That's why I did it in 2 batches. These are not sticking together. Make sure that you go through them, make sure they're not stuck together or one inside of another, like you can quite often do with the smaller shells. Just make sure, once they're stuck together, they're staying together. So that's it. They're not stuck together because of the oil I put in the pan. Yeah, 3/4 cooked. This bit here, the side bits are cooked, but this bit is not fully cooked. Don't know if you can see it. No, not really. Ow, anyway, they're hot. So that's what you're after, 3/4 cooked, and then take them out and pop them in there. But make sure that you add enough oil to this pan that they're not going to stick together. I've just used the entire bag of pasta. I don't like putting a tiny little bit back in the bag in the cupboard, so yeah, I've just used it all, and I'll fill that tray then. And it's bubbling away. So that's what your pasta should be like. So I'll bring you back when we're ready to plate it up. Right guys, so I've allowed them to cool. So, well, cool enough so that I can handle them anyway. You will need some cheese just to top it. If you're going to put this in the freezer, I'd suggest that you grate it. Cheese doesn't store well unless grated. So I'm going for the spoon option. My hands are going to end up a mess, so you can choose the piping bag method if you so wish, but I've just opened them up, held it at the bottom and opened it up with them 2 fingers. And squash it in. Oh, here we go already. Some of you, if you get yourselves nice little manicures and that, might not want to take this option of filling them, because it'll stain your, blooming heck, it'll stain your nails. No. What I'm going to do is just keep on filling the shell, make sure they're full. Because of the way that you have to hold them and stretch them open, this is why you don't want them fully cooked and just 3/4. Because if you fully cook them, they'll be too stodgy and they'll just break. I've had to line the bottom of this tin because the stupid sticker that Wilko puts on them won't come out. So that's the first row in, and that's essentially what you're going to do. And as you go along, you will find that you can squeeze in more. So, hang on, just had to wash my hands. Don't know why, but... So, make sure you have your oil for your pasta, because otherwise you're not going to be able to separate. have made that mistake, so I know. Completely forgot. And I cooked them fully as well. There was absolutely no chance of separating them. They ripped. It was a right old mess. You can see that this mix does make a lot. You can make the mix drier, but remember, if you do that, when you bake it, it'll be even drier than when you put it in. So it does pay to leave it saucy. Right, so I'll get my husband to speed up now, and then I can show you how it looks at the end. Right, so I've filled the other one. The shells are all filled. And I'll cover that with cheese in a minute. I've still got mix and shells left. So I took the regular standard size ones. And I'm going to see what I can get out of these. So again, all I'm doing is filling. I'll get my husband to fast forward. But these ones, if I get two out of it, I'll give one to mother-in-law. Or maybe two, and put one in the freezer for the kids. So, as before, I'll get my husband to fast forward. Right guys, so that is how much I got out of 500 grams of mince. For me, I think that's pretty good. That's a full family size, no doubt. Even for us. And we're dustbins. I'll give two to the mother-in-law, one for the kids. Happy days. Sorted. So now all I've got to do is add on the cheese. Please don't freeze these with sliced cheese on. Your cheese will not be right, let's put it that way.